The pressure of the concert season can feel overwhelming at best. What if instead of chaos, you had a playbook for simplicity? In this episode, you are going to get your guide to planning your most joyful concert yet, helping you work smarter, not harder.
It's the Happy Music Teacher!
Are you an elementary music teacher who's frustrated and overwhelmed? I'm Jeanette Mahalchik, a happy music teacher who loves teaching every day, but it wasn't long ago I was in your shoes. Join me Wednesdays to help you find happy in your music classroom. You know, I ran a choir for so many years, pretty much the entirety of my teaching experience. All 26 years, with the exception of 1 year, I always ran a choir. And it was not only the greatest joy of everything I did. I mean, what is better than listening to those angelic little voices? But it was also sometimes one of the most stressful and frustrating parts of my job. I mean, you know how it goes, because your principal and the people around you, your colleagues, the only thing they see sometimes is your choir concert. They don't see what goes on in your classroom. They don't know what's happening. And I remember choir I always had these ginormous choirs. I had like over 100 students one time. And while that was amazing, it also meant that I was there with 100 students. And you know how it goes. You try to ask for help, but parents are wonderful, wonderful helpers, but unless they're teachers, it can be really challenging to get help from them, especially like behavioral sort of help. I remember one time I was running a concert and I was backstage with like 100 students, and there was a small group on the stage, and I couldn't be in two places at once. And I had asked for help, and for whatever reason, the person that was supposed to come and help me didn't end up showing up. And so there I was, what was I going to do, right? And so I had one little boy who kept peeking out from the curtains and peeking out from the curtains. And he was being really silly and he was making all these funny faces. And of course, my admin was not happy with me about it. And I don't blame her. So, there are struggles that come with running your choir that you just might not expect. Today, we're talking about going from planning to performance, and I have 7 steps for you to follow that are going to help you plan your choir concert and get it all done. So we are going to spend some time taking a look at planning to performance. This is going to be your stress-free guide to concert prep. We're going to start out talking about repertoire, because that is usually Bethany Main and I always talk about how we love to sift through the repertoire. I love to listen on J.W. Pepper and find all the beautiful music, and I love to go through my library but we're talking like 11 hours later, right? We are still sifting through music, and that's not everybody's love. Not everybody loves to choose music like that. So the first thing we're going to talk about is how to make some smart time-saving choices right at the very beginning. So instead of reinventing the wheel, you are going to find the right pieces that are easy to teach and rehearse. And one of the ways to do that is start a list of all your faves. So you can do this right on a Google Sheet, and that is a really good way to do it. And actually, what I want to tell you is the Choir Tune-Up Summit has, as part of purchasing your ticket, you will get access to literally hundreds of songs that Bethany and I have gone through, and just, we have done all the work for you. So that is one great thing. But if for some reason you are not attending the Choir Tune-Up Summit, I can't imagine why that would be, but if for some reason you're not, then I recommend start a Google Doc, and then maybe you and all the music teachers in your county or your area can go through and just share it with them, and everybody puts down their favorites. So that is a really good way to start a list, and that way you're not reinventing the wheel every year. I do recommend, if you're going to do it, make sure you put like the title and the theme of the music. Like, sometimes there's one about rain, or maybe there's one about music, or whether there's one about cats, or there's multicultural music, or whatever it happens to be. So find a way to record all that music, like write down, type out all that music in a Google, I think I said doc and I meant Google Sheet. So you want a Google Sheet so that you can sort it. And that's what I would do that. So that is the first step. You want to simplify that repertoire. And then you want to ask yourself this question: how can you select music that not only engages your students, but it fits seamlessly into your schedule, and it is quality music? So here's what I recommend. I recommend that you think about a couple different things. Think about the fun factor, because your students want to have fun. Think about, is it funny? Is it silly? Is it fast? And it doesn't necessarily need to be fast, but it does need to be fun for your students to sing. They do need good repertoire. It doesn't have to be that big, massive choral music that you would have a middle or high school choir sing. This is elementary school, so the music can feel like elementary school. That doesn't mean you're choosing baby songs. That's not what I'm saying. You're going to choose good repertoire, but you're going to choose repertoire that's fun for them to sing. Things that they can relate to. Things that they are going to be excited about. Things that they're going to leave choir rehearsal talking about. And you know what that is, because you teach them every day. So that is a little bit about repertoire. Number 2, you want to streamline your rehearsals. You want to make sure that everything is running efficiently. Make sure when your students come in that the music is out, their choir folder is out. It's a good idea for them to have a choir folder if you're giving them sheet music, so that, and what I like to do is I like to set up my students in their height order so that they get used to being around the same people all the time. And then I number them 1 through 10 in the first row, 11 through 20 in the second row, etc., etc. And then they are responsible. I have a shelf where they pull out their music, and they are responsible to get out their music. And then Bethany Main likes to say, and we talked about this a few weeks ago when she and I chatted about choir, she talks about having a slide up or some way for the students to know what they're supposed to be doing when they get in there. So you want to train them that when they come in, they look at that slide or they look at your whiteboard and they get out the music that you're going to be rehearsing. So that means you need to make sure that everything's planned out first, right? So they get out the music, they are ready to go. As soon as you have a good amount of your students in there, you go ahead and start your warm-up. And I do recommend you find a way to make sure that everyone is there on time. And a good way to do that would be some sort of a prize system, or maybe not a prize system, but like a point system. So maybe you split your students into row 1, row 2, row 3, row 4. If everybody in row 2 is there on time and ready to go, has their music ready, then they get 5 points or something like that. And at the end, they get to do something fun. Like if you have a silly warm-up, they get to be first to do it. Or if, students always love to leave first, right? They always love to line up first. So you could let them line up first. It doesn't have to be a big deal. It should not be something that's going to cost you money because we don't make enough money to begin with. So just make sure you have everything out, everything is ready to go, and make sure that you've got your plan in place. Number 3, integrate, don't isolate. So make sure that you ask for help. Ask the 5th graders to help you with, details. Like maybe, if you've got 5th graders who are not in the choir, they could come in and set up the chairs for you, tear down the chairs for you. Have your students, have your choir do that as they're coming in. Come in, grab your chair, put it down, la, 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 all those things. You could have a parent helper who helps you with taking roll or whatever that happens to be. You could have people help you if you are buying uniforms or t-shirts or whatever. You could have some parent helpers help you with that. Farm out as much of that as you possibly can. You could have a high school student do some of that for you, somebody who's really excited about music or maybe they could create the program for you or, whatever it happens to be. Whatever you're doing, make sure that you get people to help you with that. It is really important to outsource. Get rid of some of that workload. Get help from other people. Find some people in your school who just love to be a part of productions. And, you may have an actor in your school, or I had a choreographer who did all of my choreographing when I needed some movement. And that was amazing. And I had another guy who in the last school I taught at that was a choir director for his church. And so he came in and helped me and did all the things. So, draft some people to help. It is okay to ask for help. You don't have to do everything yourself. I worked with a guy a couple of years ago who literally did all the stage decorating himself and did all of everything fell on his shoulders. And then he was like, I'm so stressed out. And I'm thinking to myself, in fact, I think I said to him, you're stressed out because you won't ask for any help. And I would say that I would help him. And he would be like, no, I got it. He didn't want to ask for help. He was just being kind. But that made it really hard on him. Don't make it hard on yourself. Number 4, make it so much fun. Bethany and I talked about this a couple weeks ago. You want it to be fun for your students. You want it to be engaging. You want to, tap into that sense of wonder and fun and silly that they have. Be silly yourself. Do silly things. Use props. Do all the cool things that that your students love and engage with. And that is going to help you in so many ways, because when they don't know what to expect from you and they're like, oh my gosh, this guy or girl is so silly and so fun, then, they're going to be watching more carefully because they're going to be like, what's she going to do next? What's he going to do next? That sort of thing. So, tap into their childlike amazingness and make it part of your day. Finally, Bethany Main and I have something to help. Choir can be really stressful and hard if you don't have the right tools and strategies. And if you are struggling with any of the choir things, then you need to be a part of our Choir Tune-Up Summit. This is your complete step-by-step blueprint from presenters who are experienced choral directors, who are experienced with elementary choirs, and who are there to help you. They have gone through the trenches. They have done all the things, and they are there to help you so that you don't have to go through the struggles that most of us have gone through. If you are ready for a full toolkit of everything you possibly could want to make your next choir concert easy and fun, the easiest one yet, this is for you. All you have to do is grab your ticket, and you can do that by going to thehappymusicteacher.com/choir summit. When you get there, you're going to click any of the yellow buttons, and it is going to take you to the page where you can grab your ticket. It is only $27. I mean, so much value. We have 10 presenters plus some amazing surprises. We have a reading session with Ryan Main with all of his music. And Bethany and I are going to be doing a co-working session where we are going to help you plan out your concert. And these are things you don't have to be a VIP to join in these kinds of things. All these live sessions are completely included along with 48 hours access to the summit, to all the amazing presenters. So again, go to thehappymusicteacher.com/choir summit to grab your ticket today. Let's do a quick recap. So you don't want to reinvent the wheel. Your number one thing is to simplify your repertoire. Find a way to share music with the other music teachers, with the other choir directors in your district. Or when you join the summit, you get access to a Google Sheet full of hundreds of songs that mostly Bethany and some me have curated just for you. Number 2, streamline those rehearsals. Make sure that you're prepped and ready to go. Make sure that your kiddos' folders are out and they're ready to go. Your slide deck is up, all the things. Make sure that you make it as planned out as possible. Make sure that you know what you're doing from day to day. Number 3, be sure to reach out for help from anyone you can think of. The 5th graders, the high schoolers, the parents, the teachers in your school. Reach out and try not to do it all yourself, because guess what? It's really hard when you try to do it all yourself. And finally, make sure that you go to thehappymusicteacher.com/choir summit and grab your ticket today for the Choir Tune-Up Summit. I can't wait to see you there.
This podcast is a proud member of the Teach Better Podcast Network. Better today, better tomorrow, and the podcast to get you there. Explore more podcasts at www.teachbetterpodcastnetwork.com.
Well, that's all I have for you today. But before I go, I want to remind you, keep learning, keep growing, and keep being fabulous you.